Welcome back, friends. Corey from Wandering Weekends here, and we have changed up weight distribution hitches. We went from the Blue Ox Sway Pro 1000 to the Curt TruTrack. Curt reached out to us and said, hey, would you like to test our weight distribution hitch out? I said, yeah, sure, that's fine. The Blue Ox is okay, but we're always up to test some stuff out for you guys. They sent it to us. It's much beefier than the Blue Ox. I like the design much better. We'll go into all that. We're also going to test drive it, but let's show you how to install it first. Okay, so what are we coming from? We're going to the Curt TruTrack, but we're coming from a Blue Ox Sway Pro 1000. And let me be clear, the Blue Ox has performed pretty well. I've been somewhat happy with it, but when Curt reached out and asked if we wanted to try the TruTrack, I just didn't want, if this was performing great or if this wasn't getting on my nerves, that's pretty much what I was doing, it's starting to get on my nerves a little bit. I would have told him no, my setup right now is working fine. But there's two big things that I'm not a huge fan of this hitch. And the first is here on the saddle. This is what locks this cam in, and you can't see it. Obviously you can't see back here whether or not this is engaged all the way, and this saddle has come off on me before. It's only happened once. I'm pretty sure it was my fault for not checking it, but when you do check it with the wrench, you don't know how hard to check it. Anyway, you can't see that it's engaged, right? The second area that bugs me on this hitch is right here, this pin that locks in this bar here, this weight distribution bar. I mean, obviously you can see it's flimsy. It's small. It's only about 1/4 of an inch thick, not even that. And yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of tension here. It's probably not going to come out, but it just bugs me. So that's the two of the main reasons why I said, yeah, sure, we'll try the TruTrack. Once the Curt TruTrack got here, I realized I'd made the right decision. It is much beefier than this Blue Ox. I've even got my micrometer out right now. We're going to get this thing off. We're going to take a side by side, and I'm going to show you how beefier the Curt is versus the Blue Ox. All right, guys, so before I remove this hitch, I've got this adjusted perfectly for our particular trailer, and so I need to get the height of the ball before I remove it, and we are right at 23 inches, so that'll be our starting place when we install the Curt TruTrack. All right, guys, so we're going to take a look. I got my micrometer out, and we're going to take a look at how much beefier the Curt is versus the Blue Ox. First, we're going to start with where the bars insert, and you can see here on the sides of the Blue Ox, 9.5 millimeters, side of the Curt, 15.1. What's troubling down here at the bottom of the Blue Ox, 6 millimeters of thickness, 6.4 millimeters of thickness. That's yeah, I mean, whatever. Okay. So secondly, I want to look another area that takes a lot of torque is here. Let me go from this way. I think we'll be better off. This area here, 11.3 millimeters on the Blue Ox versus 30.5 on the Curt, almost 3 times as thick. And then the kicker of all this, I got to move over to inches to even do this. Over here on the Blue Ox, we're at 3.42 inches versus 5.81, so almost twice as much thickness here on the Curt. All right, so like I mentioned before, make sure to measure your old hitch if you're coming from an old hitch. Here we're at 22 inches, so my starting point needs to be about an inch higher than the top of this shank right here. Let's go ahead and get the head installed. All right, one of the great features about the TruTrack is the ability to fine-tune the hitch. Now, they tell you in the instructions to make sure to start, we're going to put our insert here, the middle hole in the bottom, the hole closest to the back, and the top. So we're going to start here, and then this is going to get you, most of you guys will be good to go with this setup, but if we need to fine-tune, we can just move this around a little bit. Super simple. So this is easily the hardest part of this whole process, is getting this ball lined up. These things aren't light. So we're going to get this, that's going to get me, I think this hole right here is going to get me where I need to be. So let me see if I can get it started. There we go. Make sure I've got my other side lined up correctly. Let's see. course that would happen. All right, we should be good to go there. Get our smaller bolt for the bottom. Pop it through here. Now let's check and see if we're about at 23 inches off the ground. So I can get us about 24. So we're going to drop it down one more. All right, guys, so we're kind of in between. So if I dropped it down, we're too low. When I popped it up, we were too high. So here's the great thing about this hitch. Like I just mentioned, we're able to fine tune. So I'm going to pick it back up a notch, and then we're going to use this piece right here to fine tune it to be exactly where we need to be. All right, like I mentioned, the instructions said to start with this fine tuning piece, middle hole, back hole. Well, we had to adjust to get our ball height correctly. We ended up going middle hole, middle hole. We should be good to go. Now let's install the saddles. All right, before we put the saddles on, we got to get the spring bars in the correct place. So the instructions tell you to go ahead and couple the hitch here and raise it 3 inches. So we're gonna, I've got my trusty tape measure here. We're gonna raise up 3 inches. All right, we're all set. Let's put our spring bars on, and then we'll know where to put our saddles. All right, so we're installing these L brackets. Remember, we've got this thing under tension right now because we raised the back end of the truck up about 3 inches with the jack. So we need to get this as close as we can to this after it's come up a little bit, all right? So we're gonna bring it up here, and I think we're gonna be happy about right there. So let me install this second nut in there, and then we're going to find the one across from it, and that should be our height. Okay, so Curt says to install these brackets 4 inches from the end of the spring bar here, and they've already got a sticker here measuring for you, so appreciate that, Curt. So we're sitting pretty close to where we need to be. I'm going to bump it in just a little bit more. Should be good to go. All right, guys, the defining feature of this TruTrack, and the thing that intrigued me the most and made me say, okay, yeah, absolutely, send me this thing. You'll see this ball bearing right here, and let's say you start, if you were to start to sway, this thing is locked in right now. So you can see it's locked in. When you start to turn, the bearing comes out, and then when you get straight down the road again, it pops back in. So I thought that was a really unique characteristic of this particular hitch. Let's get it on the road. I'm gonna hook it up, show you how to hook it up right quick, and let's get it on the road and test it out. All right, so to hook this thing up, we're gonna lower the hitch down onto the ball. And I'm gonna do this in real time so you got a good idea of what's going on. All right, we're in. Coupler in, pin in. Now we're gonna raise it up. Remember they said raise it up? So I raise it up to a count of 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's go 15, 14, 15, all right? Now they give you a wrench. I'm hoping I don't need it, but I might. Yeah, I'm gonna need it. They give you a wrench here. Pull that out, and then put that little nipple right there. Now that one's on. We're going to put our pin in here. This is the first time I've ever hooked this thing up, so pretty simple. Now let's go to the other side. All right, that side I didn't even need the wrench, right? So have I even got that out of the back? I hadn't even got this. Yeah, step over there.
Sorry, folks.
It's just the same thing on this side. There we go. All right, we're all set. Let's drop all of the weight down on the hitch. All right, guys, before we test drive, we got some measuring to do. We're going to measure the top of the wheel wells, front and back, and then we're going to measure the trim piece on the rig. We want everything to be almost level, okay? So ½ inch here or there where I'm okay with, but if it's much more than that, we need to do some adjusting. So front wheel well, we're at 42 inches. Rear 42 inches, I'll take that every day. I didn't expect it to be right on, but it was. 32 inches to the top of this piece of trim right here. And then let's go back here to the back of the rig. 32.5. So ½ inch lower in the front. I'm fine with that. We look like we're doing good. I'm gonna be honest with you, that was beginner's luck that we did that the first time around. But I think it all has to do with fine-tuning the ball in the first place. So make sure you got that set up, especially if you're coming from an old hitch that was working okay for you. And yeah, let's go take it for a test drive. All right, so the first thing we'll do is we're gonna listen to see how loud it is. I'm gonna roll my window down. A lot of people are concerned about how loud their hitches are. I don't really care how loud ours is, but for some reason that's a big deal for folks. And then we're gonna get on the highway and see how it does. So let's get it out here. Make sure I don't hit my mailbox, which I'm just about to do. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay. I haven't heard anything so far, but it didn't snap or pop or anything. We're gonna take it down here to a cul-de-sac and turn around and see what happens. So we're gonna take it around this cul-de-sac here, similar to if we were turning around in the campground. One little pop. Yeah, it's not. See if you can hear it. So far it's really quiet. I actually expected it to be, didn't you expect it to be a little bit louder?
I didn't hear anything.
I heard that little, there's one little pop. All right, let's get on the highway. So what we're looking for porpoising, we're looking for chucking back and forth, and we're looking obviously for sway control. We're gonna go get on an interstate, it's not an interstate, but we can get up to about 65, 70, and we'll be able to tell. Okay guys, so hey, I'm good with this. A lot less chucking. We went over a bridge back there, and instead of getting the good little bounce that we would normally get with the old hitch, the TruTrack performed, I thought, a good bit better actually. Now, I was gonna wait and see how this thing performed before I got rid of my Blue Ox. I think I'm comfortable doing that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch to the Curt. So be looking on Marketplace. The old Blue Ox will be up soon. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can definitely recommend the Curt TruTrack. You can find it in the description box below. And yeah, happy camping, guys. All right, we're going over a bridge. Let's see how it feels. That's the road, obviously, but yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.